Hello and a very warm welcome to Grow English Mastery. My name is Scarlett, and today we are going to be political detectives. We are going to travel back in time to investigate one of the most controversial and consequential periods in recent American history, and we're going to explore a fascinating and powerful concept in American politics: the October surprise. What is an October surprise? In the United States, presidential elections are always held in early November. An October surprise is a bombshell news event that is deliberately created or timed to happen in the final weeks before the election in October, with the specific goal of dramatically influencing the outcome. It can be a sudden peace treaty, the release of a prisoner, or, more often, a damaging scandal about one of the candidates. It is a high-stakes political gamble designed to change voters' minds at the last possible moment. Today, we are going to investigate the claim that the 2016 presidential election was decided by a massive October surprise. But the shocking accusation is that this surprise didn't come from a rival campaign or a foreign country, but from within America's own powerful intelligence agencies. Our central question is this: was the official accusation of Russian interference in 2016 a necessary national security warning, or was it a deliberate political act designed to stop Donald Trump? This is a deep dive into the anatomy of a political scandal. By the end of this lesson, you will understand this complex story in detail. We will learn 10 essential vocabulary words for political analysis. And we will master 2 key grammar points perfect for telling this story: the past perfect continuous tense and using gerunds after prepositions. This is a story about where the world of secret intelligence and the world of public politics collide. Let's begin our investigation. Part 1. Setting the scene: the 2016 election. To understand the events, we must first remember the atmosphere of 2016. The presidential race between the Republican candidate, businessman Donald Trump, and the Democratic candidate, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, was one of the most bitter, divisive, and unpredictable in modern history. The country was deeply polarized, and the political tension was incredibly high. Donald Trump was a complete political outsider who had run a campaign against the establishment of both parties. Hillary Clinton was a deeply experienced politician, but she faced controversies of her own. As the election entered its final month, October, the race was extremely close. Both campaigns were looking for a final advantage, and the public was braced for a potential October surprise. And then, it happened. Part 2. The bombshell announcement. On October 7, 2016, just 1 month before the election, the United States government released a formal, public, and truly explosive statement. The statement came jointly from the Department of Homeland Security and the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the highest intelligence body in the country. The statement officially accused the Russian government of hacking the emails of the Democratic Party and other political organizations. It went on to say that these thefts and disclosures are intended to interfere with the U.S. election process. In simple terms, America's intelligence agencies were publicly accusing a foreign power of attacking American democracy, and they implied that this attack was designed to help Donald Trump. This was a bombshell announcement. The key leaders of the intelligence community at the time, who were serving under the administration of President Barack Obama, were Director of National Intelligence James Clapper and CIA Director John Brennan. They became the public faces of this assessment. Part 3. The Anatomy of the Scandal. Two competing stories. This single event has now created two completely different and opposing narratives, two stories that try to explain what happened. The first story is the national security narrative. This is the official story, defended by the intelligence officials and their supporters. In this version, the men and women of the CIA, NSA, and FBI had been working for months, tracking a sophisticated cyber attack from Russia. They had gathered evidence that Russian hackers were stealing sensitive information and leaking it to damage the Clinton campaign. According to this narrative, they faced a terrible dilemma. Should they stay silent and allow a foreign adversary to secretly influence their election? Or should they fulfill their duty and warn the American public about the attack? They chose to warn the public. In this version of the story, James Clapper and John Brennan were heroes, nonpartisan public servants who bravely spoke the truth to protect American democracy. The timing of the announcement in October was not a political choice. It was simply when they had gathered enough solid evidence to make a confident public accusation. But there is a second, much darker story, the politicization narrative. This is the story told by critics, and it is the foundation of the accusations we hear today. In this version, the leaders of the intelligence community, who were all part of the Democratic Obama administration, were deeply opposed to the Republican candidate, Donald Trump. They saw him as a threat to the country. According to this narrative, these officials, especially at the FBI through their investigation codenamed Crossfire Hurricane, had been investigating the Trump campaign for months, looking for any connection to Russia. Critics allege that they took small pieces of information and exaggerated them, creating a narrative of collusion that wasn't fully there. Then, they deliberately chose to release their most damaging public statement in October, at the moment it would do the most harm to the Trump campaign, effectively creating their own October surprise. They were political actors who had fabricated or exaggerated intelligence and weaponized their power to try and stop a candidate they personally disliked. This is the core of the scandal. Was it a necessary warning or a political hit job? The truth is still fiercely debated to this day. Now, to help us analyze this complex political scandal, let's learn some key vocabulary. 1. October surprise noun phrase. A news event deliberately timed to occur in the final days, in October, before a November election, in order to influence the outcome. Spelling: OCTOBERSURPRISE. Example 1. The intelligence announcement was seen by critics as a classic October surprise. Example 2. Both campaigns were preparing for a potential last-minute October surprise. 2. Scandal noun. An action or event regarded as morally or legally wrong and causing general public outrage. Spelling: SCANDAL. Example 1. Today's lesson is about the anatomy of a political scandal. Example 2. The company's reputation was damaged by the accounting scandal. 3. To politicize, verb, to make something become a political issue. Spelling: POLITICIZE. Example 1. The central accusation is that officials politicized secret intelligence. Example 2. It is unfortunate when a public health crisis becomes politicized. Noun form, politicization. 4. To fabricate, verb. To invent or produce something false in order to deceive someone. Spelling, Fabricate. Example 1. Critics accuse the officials of fabricating evidence to create a scandal. Example 2. He was fired for fabricating his expense reports. Synonym, to invent, to make up. 5. Intelligence noun. In a government context, secret information that is collected about a foreign country, an enemy, or a criminal organization. Spelling, Intelligence. Example 1. The CIA is America's most famous intelligence agency. Example 2. The decision was based on the latest intelligence reports. 6. Interference noun. The action of getting involved in a situation where you are not wanted or are not considered to belong. Spelling, Interference. Example 1. The public statement accused Russia of interference in the U.S. election. Example 2. The company's CEO promised there would be no political interference in the newspaper's reporting. 7. Adversary noun, an enemy or opponent. Spelling, Adversary. Example 1. Intelligence officials described Russia as a foreign adversary. Example 2. The two generals had once been friends, but were now adversaries in the war. 8. Non-partisan adjective, not supporting or controlled by any political group. Spelling, Non-partisan. Example 1. Intelligence agencies are supposed to be non-partisan. Example 2. The report was written by a non-partisan committee of experts. Antonym, partisan. 9. Accountability noun. The state of being responsible for your actions and being expected to explain them. Spelling, Accountability. Example 1. The new investigation aims to bring accountability for past actions. Example 2. A lack of accountability can lead to corruption. 10. Bombshell noun. A shocking and surprising piece of news. Spelling, Bombshell. Example 1. The October 7th statement was a political bombshell. Example 2. The newspaper dropped a bombshell when it revealed the CEO's secret emails. Now let's look at the grammar we need to tell this story about the past. Our first grammar point today is the past perfect continuous. The structure is had been plus verbing. We use this tense to talk about an action that was in progress for a period of time before another event in the past. It's perfect for providing background context. Let's see how it works in our story. The main past event is the announcement on October 7th. The past perfect continuous describes what was happening before that. Example. The FBI had been investigating the Trump campaign for several months before the public announcement was made. Example. Critics claimed the officials had been planning to release the information for a long time. Example. Defenders argued that they had been gathering evidence carefully before they spoke. This tense is fantastic for showing the deep background behind a main event. Our second grammar point is using gerunds after prepositions. A preposition is a small word like of, in, for, by, or about. A gerund is the fying form of a verb that acts like a noun. When a verb follows a preposition, it almost always needs to be in its ing gerund form. This is a very common and important structure. Let's see examples from our story. The officials were accused of using their power for political reasons. Preposition of plus gerund using. They defended themselves by saying it was their duty. Preposition by plus gerund saying. The debate is about finding the real truth. Preposition about plus gerund finding. Critics were angry for the agency releasing the information so close to the election. Recognizing this pattern, preposition plus gerund will greatly improve your understanding of English sentence structure. To finish our lesson, I want to share an inspirational story about another time in American history when the nation was gripped by fear and false accusations, and one man's courageous use of the media to speak truth to power. This is the story of journalist Edward R. Murrow versus Senator Joseph McCarthy. In the early 1950s, America was in the grip of the Cold War and a period of intense anti-communist fear known as the Red Scare. A U.S. Senator named Joseph McCarthy exploited this fear for his own political gain. He began a series of aggressive investigations, a witch hunt, claiming he had a list of communists who had infiltrated the U.S. government, the military, and even Hollywood. He made these accusations without providing any real evidence. Many people's careers and lives were destroyed by his reckless allegations. People were afraid to speak out against him for fear of being called a communist themselves. But Edward R. Murrow, one of the most respected journalists of his time, decided he had to act. He used his popular CBS television show, See It Now, to fight back. In a series of carefully researched episodes, Murrow did something very simple but very powerful. He used Senator McCarthy's own words against him. He showed clips of McCarthy bullying witnesses and contradicting himself. In his most famous broadcast, Murrow looked directly into the camera and delivered a powerful speech, concluding with the words, "We must not confuse dissent with disloyalty. We will not walk in fear, one of another. We will not be driven by fear into an age of unreason." It was an incredibly brave act. The network was pressured to fire him, and sponsors threatened to pull their advertising. But Murrow's broadcast was a major turning point. It helped the American public to see McCarthy for what he was, a bully who was using lies and fear for power. Soon after, McCarthy's political career collapsed. Edward R. Murrow's story is a powerful testament to the importance of a free and non-partisan press. It is a lesson in courage and the responsibility to seek and report the truth, even when it is dangerous to do so. It provides an inspiring model of integrity, a direct contrast to the story of politicized intelligence. We have dissected a very complex and important scandal today. Let's summarize what we have learned. First, to answer the question from the beginning, is this topic the same as our previous lesson on Tulsi Gabbard's threat? No. While they are related, today's lesson focused on the history of the 2016 scandal itself, the anatomy of the October surprise. Our previous lesson focused on the future consequences of a new investigation. Together, they give you a complete picture of this ongoing political drama. Second, we learned 10 essential vocabulary words for political analysis, including October surprise, scandal, politicize, and bombshell. Third, we mastered 2 key grammar points for telling complex stories about the past perfect continuous for background context, and using gerunds after prepositions. The story of the 2016 election and the role of the intelligence agencies is a powerful and cautionary tale. It highlights the immense challenge of keeping the secret world of intelligence separate from the public world of politics and the dangers that arise when that line becomes blurred. Thank you so much for joining me for this deep and analytical lesson. Learning to discuss these complex stories is a fantastic way to take your English to the next level. Please let us know in the comments. Based on the 2 stories, do you believe it was a necessary security warning or a political act? And please, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Grow English Mastery. Keep learning, stay curious, and I look forward to seeing you in our next lesson. Goodbye for now.